Hello world, it's Nicole from HeartsChat. So today the topic is communication. So my communication style is more or less, I don't really communicate that much. Or I used to not. I used to not communicate that much. I used to not be very verbal or communicate my feelings, but instead get a little bit more, I would say angry. I would get more irritable and angry quicker. And a lot of times that was just because I would hold things in and be pent up. I'd be, you know, um, expecting them to know what I'm feeling or expecting them to know what was going on, even though I never communicated it to them. So um, it was kind of an oxymoron and kind of really hindered me, and it hindered relationships because I would treat people kind of bad, I guess. But I never saw it that way. And I was just like, you were just supposed to know. So as I grew up and learned more about myself, I kind of realized that that's not the way to do it. And it's very hard for me to communicate. It's very hard to communicate my feelings, I would say. I can tell you what I'm thinking. I can tell you if something's not all right or my opinion about it. But more or less, when I'm communicating about my feelings, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to do. And it takes me a really long time. But I have practiced and I've had people in my life. I've surrounded my people who do encourage it more and to help me out with it a little bit more. And really, even if it is hard for you to communicate, even if it's hard for you to tell people how you're feeling, try to do it. And it's never too late, because if something bothers you and you keep it pent up and you keep it holding it in a little bit more, it is going to be harder on you, and it's going to be harder on the relationship, because you're not going to be able, they're not going to be able to give you what you want and need, and then you're going to lack that as well. And resentment can hold up and it can build up. So that's a big way that I've learned from it. Also is physical affection. It could be kisses, hugs, and this doesn't mean just for a significant other. I'm just talking about having that the touch of somebody else. So sometimes, like, when I can't say something, or sometimes your love for somebody isn't verbal. I will just randomly go up and give a hug, and that's my communication of randomly giving you my affection. If it doesn't happen so often, I'll do it randomly. So that's how I communicate that. A lot of times I think communication is a little different with significant others and with family or friends. I think it is, I think our significant others, or the people who are around us the most, are the people who get, what would you say, treated a little bit worse. And I think that it is very important to realize that. And I know that that's something that I've had to consistently work on, is to make sure that the people who I love know I love them, and know that what I need. And a lot of times it's very hard for me to tell things to people, feelings wise, when I care about them the most, because I'm scared of what's going to happen. So I think that's just something that I've really overlearned, is that if you love somebody and you care about them, whichever, however they are in your life, that it's very important to make sure that you tell them these things, and you also tell them what's bothering you, not just the love, because things can be easily fixed very, very quickly, but we think we put more work into it to not say it than just to say it, and a majority of the time it winds up a lot better than you think. So those are the main ways that I kind of I would say communicate, or nonetheless not communicate. I think I'm very blunt, and I can be very honest at times, and sometimes it comes very much into my benefit, and a lot of times it doesn't. So I learned to tone it down, to not be rude, because to be blunt is different than rude, because you can be blunt or you can be honest. But you also can be very rude at the same time. So if you're one of those people, then just try to watch out for that. Try to make sure what you're saying is not rude to other people, but rather it may be honest. Or if you're saying it, a lot of your intentions have a lot to do behind it. Because if you're saying something blunt and it's not for the good purpose, and it's not very honest, it's just more or less strictly your opinion, or you trying to hurt somebody, it will hurt and it will seem rude. But if you're, and also if you're a blunt person and you do say it and you realize that it hurts people, then just try to recognize people's body language and everything to see that that did happen, that you did offend them, and then try to have them understand where you're coming from, the interpretation of what you were meaning for them to interpret it as and how they interpret it. Because a lot of times how we interpret things of what we say really kind of messes things up. I could say one thing to you and you took it as another. But if I'm recognizing body language and I'm recognizing that you're offended, or you straight up tell me you're offended, then I'm going to try to correct that and try to do that. Don't get offended. Don't you, the blunt person, get offended and try to go off and try to defend it that way. Be like, oh, no, this is what I meant. So that's kind of all. It's hard to really extend the communication aspect of it. So to me, it's hard for me to express emotions, but I can say opinions and stuff very honestly and bluntly, and I show a lot of communicate my love and affection towards people physically as well. So I hope you learned something from this, and I hope that if you have a similar communication pattern as me, that you try to work on really recognizing the effects that you put on yourself by holding things in, and that how much better it can be when you just express it. And also just if you're a person who's very honest and blunt, to try to recognize when you're being rude instead of being blunt. And try to, take some time out to try to have people understand what you really meant, and that you didn't mean to hurt them. So I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, world.
If you are an artist and would like us to play your music, or have a product or brand that you would like us to advertise, or if you have any questions or comments, please email us at HeartsChat@HeartsChatRadioshow.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Periscope at HeartsChat, and our Instagram at HeartsChatRadio. We post a lot of motivational messages up throughout the day, so if you need a little inspiration or pick-me-up, follow our pages. And for more information on HeartsChat, be sure to visit our website, www.HeartsChatRadioshow.com.
We hope you enjoyed our show today. Tune in every Sunday and Tuesday on HeartsChatRadioshow.com for a new episode of HeartsChat. So don't forget to tune in again at HeartsChatRadioshow.com and check us out.
And visit my blog and ask me all of your relationship questions anonymously at FromEricasHeart.com. Thank you for listening to HeartsChat, where we speak from the heart.
Bye.
Bye-bye.